Happy Monday. If you're watching it on replay, let us know. Put it in the comments, hashtag replay, so we know. Give everything a minute to get set here. I think my AirPods are connected. Make sure everything is up and running like it's supposed to. Well, are they now? Are they now okay? They keep connecting and disconnecting, so now I don't know if they sound okay. All right. Melissa says good. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough if they decide to misbehave. But for now, we'll go with it. Hi, Shar. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Brenda. As a reminder, if you have to jump off for some reason, we do record these and they post after the fact. So both on YouTube and on Facebook. So you can always go back and watch us later. Oh, good. Everybody can hear me. Good. Nicole working on your rainbow blanket. Awesome. Hi, Oriana. Linda, yes, it is so cold. Good. Sherry says she can hear me okay. Yeah. I was just telling Deb, she always stops in the shop before she goes up to the front lobby to to host drop-in help. And I said, I wonder how many people are actually going to come out tonight and show up because it's pretty chilly out there. But we knitters, we still brave the elements if we have to. There are yarn emergencies sometimes. That's just how it goes. Yeah, Melissa's posting links. So we're live both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And I use two different platforms and two different streams for that. So if for some reason one seems a little wonky, you can always try and go to the other. So Melissa's posting links to YouTube on Facebook and Facebook on YouTube, I think. And yeah, that way you can watch us either way. We are trying to, hi, Noelle. You might get snow tonight. Oh, we actually got a little bit of snow today. I actually thought it was too cold to snow, but we were getting snow and it was like, I don't know, it was 1 degree when I got up this morning. I could do without that. Definitely. We are trying to do a little bit more on YouTube versus Facebook because things, keep changing back and forth with what's available and what's not available. And YouTube seems pretty consistent, but for as long as we can, we're going to do both. So we're both places, YouTube and Facebook for now. Okay, so 7 o'clock after 7 o'clock. So let's get started. Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today is January 20th. We've almost made it through a month. Seems like the days are getting a little bit longer. It was like 6 o'clock last night and it wasn't dark, which was awesome. So that's one thing to be thankful for, even though it is really, really cold here in Michigan and kind of everywhere, I think. My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop located in Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. We are open Wednesday through Saturday at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The rest of the market is Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Purple Sage Beads. My bestie Sarah has Purple Sage Beads here in the marketplace. She's also open on Tuesdays from 11 to 5. So if you need something, that is a great opportunity if you ever wanted to learn a technique or take a class or really get some like quiet one-on-one help with Sarah, or even have one or two friends come in and do something. Tuesdays are a great day for that. Because it is pretty quiet around here. Most of the rest of the market is closed. So something to keep in mind if you wanted to learn something new, shop around a little bit, get some time with her. Tuesdays are a good time to do that. What do we have to talk about? There is a Valentine's event coming up in February, of course. That's like a Kids and Kisses kids Valentine's event. So if you have grandkids or littles that might be interested, it does help the marketplace as a whole if you say that you're interested in the events or like and share them for other people. Hi, Mama. for other people to find out about. So that's coming up in February. I didn't make any notes this week, but maybe I did last week about. As a reminder, Sock Madness registration opens February 1st. It goes February 1st through 14th. And that is for you serious or those who like a challenge with your socks and sock knitting. Okay, so let's talk about yarn and knits and stuff. I am wearing my Love Your Sweater. Hi, Donna. This sweater was a pattern that was released for LYS Day last year. It's written by Becca Anderson. She is the owner of Threadbender Yarn Store on the other side of the state, on the west side of the state. But it uses sport weight yarn with a contrast, either mohair or another sport weight yarn. So I used a mohair with mine. And it's just used that little bit up at the top. I used for the body Cascade Heritage 6, which is their sport weight hand painted yarn, which you see up here, this row up here. And I just got the box today. They came out with a bunch of new colors. I have we have in 4 new colors of theirs for the Heritage 6 hand paints. It's a Oh, excuse me. It's a great sport weight hand painted yarn, good price at $15 a skein. Um, I had my little tag from my sweater to talk about the sizes and stuff, but it is a top down. Oh, there you go, Pam. It was a good reminder for you. Top down, seamless. All the increases are done in the yoke stitches, so there aren't even any raglan increases or anything. You just do the increases all the way around throughout the yoke. It was a really fun, quick knit. So the colors, again, the colors we had a bunch here in already, including this beautiful blue that I am wearing, but new colors we got. And I wish some companies are getting better at this. Cascade is not one of them, where on their website, they'll give you color names. On the yarn, they give you color numbers. So it's not super helpful in that way, but we'll kind of go over their new colors. This one has a cream base with some oranges and greens and kind of like a greeny turquoise. I wouldn't say it's a turquoise, total turquoise, but it's like a greeny turquoise in there, but a beautiful speckle. So overall, this would get you just that creamy color as a base with just little bits of the speckles of like the fall colors. If you like those autumn tones, that one's really beautiful. So again, these retail for $15 a skein, and they're 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Same fiber content as the Heritage solids. Does it? Huh. I wonder why. I feel like we talked about it's not 2 strands held together. I know I test knit for it and we went back and forth. Maybe mine is just more of a solid gauge. This gauge uses a heavy fingering. I think that was the issue. Melissa was saying that in the Ravelry pattern, on Ravelry, it shows as a fingering weight. I think the yarn that Becca originally used for it was a heavier fingering weight yarn. So the sport weight kind of works pretty well. I think it gauged out really nicely, and I like the fabric and I like the way the sweater fits. I know Jackie has knit this sweater out of the Heritage 6, and it turned out really well too. Oh, there we go. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes we have to read it a little bit more in depth. You can't always just go by what Ravelry gives you as like the little Cliff's notes up at the top, I guess. So their sport weight though is 100 grams, 292 yards. It was still really good yardage for a sport weight yarn. So there's that beautiful color. There is this bright and lovely Look at how poppy and happy this is. So overall, kind of a bright and muted pinks with blues, purples, greens, oranges. That is just so, that would be so fun to do like a baby something out of it. And a lot of times if you go to the Cascade Yarns website and look at their yarns, a lot of times they will show you images of like swatches of what the yarn looks like knit up. A lot of companies do that. A lot of the bigger yarn companies do that where Cascade with their self-striping yarn, they'll print it on the label. Like if you were to look at their heritage sock yarn, their heritage stripes, it's got the a picture of what the stripes are going to look like on there. But on their website, I'm assuming this one does. But so yeah, this one's Desert, 615 Desert. This one is 613 Tropical Blooms. Next is, what number is this? 617. This one, they have two different blues. This one is like just all blues and teals and turquoises. No other colors in there, just all the shades of blues and greens, essentially. Yeah, there is a little bit of just green in there. That's gorgeous. That's Monet. Then there is 618. And this is blues, but then it's got pops of pinks and purples in there. So from a distance, they do look similar. But one goes more, the Monet goes more with greens. And then this one, Glacier, is more of like the icy blue, but then it's got these reds and purples in there too. So beautiful, fun, hand paints at a reasonable price. And with it being the heritage base, the 75/25 merino, superwash merino nylon, it's a great yarn for kids things and all kinds of stuff. So those are new colors that we'll add to the bunches that we have up there. Oh, awesome. There we go. Melissa posted a link to the Cascade website with the swatches. So that's what I'm wearing. Something that's finished that I can show off. I did not finish, but I mentioned it a couple weeks ago that I meant to bring it in and I didn't. But for Christmas, my mama gifted this little Noel scarflet, it's called. And it kind of reminds me of a Sophie scarf. It's just a short little garter stitch scarf with an I-cord edge. What's different about this one is in the middle, it's got this lace. Look how pretty that is. It's beautiful lace. So you could, I should have worn my hair up today. Hi, Holly. I know Holly said she was going to be out of town, but she was going to set her alarm. So she remembered to still log in and say hi and see us. So similar to this Sophie scarf, it's just a short little thing. You can wrap it around, tie this in the front. But you get that little bit of a lace with it, which I think is really cute. Can't tie and look in the camera at the same time. But it takes one skein of, well, half a skein really of a DK or a sport weight yarn. The yarn mom used is the Wonderland Mad Hatter, which is a sport weight, 344 yards and 104 ounces. So a little over 100 grams. I have one skein left of this color, which is what this scarf is made with. It's called Mansfield Park. It's $35. It was part of their tour of the season for last year. So this one comes with a set of stitch markers and a work in progress card. Hi, Sunny. Thanks for joining us. So I've got one skein of this color left, but so the other day I had my hair up in a ponytail and decided this little scarflet would also work really well as a little ear warmer. if I had my hair up and didn't want to wear a hat and smash everything down, it would work really well as like a little headband, ear warmer. You get that cute little bit of lace in there. I thought was fun. Um, so yeah, quick little project. If you like the Sophie scarf, I think you would like this with just kind of a like a step up in elegance. Sophie scarf is a popular one. I know she just came out with the Sophie hooded scarf, which is really, really cool too. Um, I had somebody in and we were picking out yarn for that the other day. So those are petite knits patterns, the Sophie series. Okay, so that is not something I finished, but I do have something that I finished. I finished my, nope, Cowltopus. I almost did the same thing she did and called it Octocowl. So the Cowltopus is a hooded cowl by Laura Nelkin, and it hasn't been blocked yet. But so there's the hood portion. I was gonna put it on, but I think it'd be fighting too much with my hair and my earbuds. Um, Next week, once I have it blocked and it's a little bit drapier, I will put it on to show it off. But so it starts with Judy's Magic Cast On style provisional cast on. I guess it's not even really a provisional cast on. Judy's Magic Cast On up at the top. And you're working kind of back and forth, creating this hood shape with a little bit of lace and a little bit of mosaic up at the top. This was written as a mystery knit along. She has video tutorials for each segment. The first one and the third one probably have the most information dense videos because that's when the most is happening with the cowl. But it has an option for brioche and it has an option to skip the brioche and do some fun 2-color stripes if you wanted to. So the whole pattern is out. You can see it now. You can go and look at other people's projects to get color ideas. But we use this 2 colors of DK yarn. And I used almost the full skein of each of those. And she has you weigh it once you get down here, so you know that you have enough to finish a repeat and do a bind off. But you start with a little bit of straight brioche first before you get into these pretty little waves that are supposed to, I guess, look kind of wavy and octopusy. One of the things that really piqued my interest about this was a video that the designer showed where you take the hood part and you flip it upside down and fold the cowl up in to the hood. And when you do that, you get sort of this balaclava style where you have your face covering on the inside. It's reminding me a little bit of the Yip Yips from Sesame Street, which I crocheted some of those for my kiddo and me as stockings last year, as Christmas stockings, which was awesome. But so you can use this as a face covering, which I would need if I was outside having to shovel, but it's knock on wood, it's not snowing enough that I have to be out in this freezing cold shoveling right now. So it's kind of cool that you could fold that up under and have a little bit of a face mask too, in addition to the hood. So that is Cowltopus. She's done. She'll get a bath, and then I can demonstrate it a little bit more next week once it's all the way finished. So those are the things I've done with. I'm working on a new project called the Salty Days sweater. I did allow myself to swatch for it before I finished that Cowltopus, but that was as much as I did was to swatch. So yeah, Julie, the Hoodola is the one that I might do with the other two, with the other color combination that I have. The Hoodola is another pattern by Laura Nelkin, is a similar concept, the hood with the cowl that you can fold up. It's designed as one color, or she actually has a 2-color stripe version that she was just showing on social media the other day too. But it has a drawstring for the hood. It's a little bit of a simpler pared down design. So if the one that I just showed you seems a little bit over complicated, the Hodola would be a great place to start too. So Salty Days sweater. This one came across my feed and I decided it needed to be in my life. And now I've decided I want to knit myself a pink sweater for Valentine's Day. So I've got about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks to make that happen. So the good news is it's on bigger needles and it seems to be going pretty quickly. So the Salty Days sweater is written using either, she says DK worsted weight yarn or a merino held with a strand of silk mohair. So I'm kind of doing that and I'm kind of not. So you can see like it's just got some basic texture in it. I swatched using I'll grab a skein of it here. Malabrigo Arroyo in the color Rosalinda, which is this beautiful pale pink with some peaches and some purples in it. And I swatched with both both accompanying yarns that I used were the Surrey Stratus. So the Surrey Stratus is a great alternative to mohair if you don't want to do mohair and silk. Surrey Stratus is an alpaca and nylon blend. So it's fuzzy, but it's not quite as fuzzy as mohair. Some people think mohair can be a little bit picky. The Surrey alpaca is a little bit softer. So I swatched with both the pink and the purple, so I really couldn't decide which one I wanted to go with. And I wanted to swatch, but also wanted to see the two colors together. So here is my little guy, my little swatch. Well, we can start this way. I started holding the purple with the, so these two together, basically. The whole thing has this Rosalinda color, but it's whatever the fuzzy yarn that goes with it. So I started with, it calls for size 8 needles. Started with 8s with the purple. Did the 2x1 ribbing, so knit 2, purl 1 ribbing down here. She also has you swatch on 2.5s for some twisted rib, which ended up on the wrong side, but you can still measure it that way. And then I was going to go to 7s. I was going to switch to the pink for this top section to see how I liked it versus holding the purple with it. And I was going to go down to 7s because I almost always have to drop a needle size. We have had recently many conversations about swatching. So I decided to stop before I got any further from here and check the gauge of my size 8 needles. She does give you a pre-block and a post-block gauge for your 1x2 ribbing. And on my 8s, my gauge was still tighter than it should have been. So instead of going down to 7s, which would have not made any sense, I went up to 9s. So this top bit uses the pink alpaca instead of the purple, and it's on size 9s, and I got gauge with my 9s. So I actually had to go up a needle size. Again, one more example of you can't just do what you always do. You can't just assume that because you typically use a certain size needle that they call for, that's always going to be the case. Clearly it's not. So I'm on 9s. I really loved the pink, but decided to go with the purple because I wanted just something a little bit more muted. And I got a few opinions from people around here, and the purple seemed to be the more popular one. So I started, and this is an interesting construction. It does give you lots of pictures. You just have to find the right one. I think I'm almost there. I do really appreciate it when designers number the pages of their patterns. Okay, so here we go. So it starts, this is what I can see here. It starts right here at the back of the collar on your back, and you're knitting this flat piece down, and then you end up picking up either side of the shoulder seams. So right now, this is what I have. So this will be the back of the neck. And this shaping that goes out will be essentially, if this were, it's easier to show on the front, but if it were the back of the sweater, this would be the neckline. And these would be the arms going down. So instead of doing like a standard raglan, it's kind of a different construction, the way this is set up. So we've got the 1x2 ribbing and a little bit of the patterning starting here. But this sweater is so light and airy and squishy, and just look at how beautiful the color is. This is one of those cases where you don't have to worry. I don't have to worry in using a hand-dyed yarn that the colors are going to be too muddied, because overall this has pretty similar tones throughout it. Like I wouldn't choose a yarn like this for this type of pattern, because you start to get into some of these stitches and you're really not going to see it. The yarn is so busy. This yarn would be great for a super simple pattern, even simpler probably than the Love Your Sweater that I'm wearing. Just like a flax light, something like that would be great out of this yarn, something very simple, or stripes. But this, because the colors are muted, I wasn't too concerned about that. And I really, really love the way it looks so far. So I'm starting to get into some of the lace patterning, and it's looking gorgeous, moving along pretty quickly. I have, I don't know, like 6 more rows to do, and then I can put that on a holder and start building the rest of the sweater. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous. A great use for the Surrey Stratus. And I, especially with having my surgery coming up, where I will be laid up in bed or on the couch for a little bit of time, I think it's, possible that I can have a Valentine's sweater done in 3 weeks. We'll see. So that's my newest obsession, my newest project that I'm working on. And yeah, I started it Saturday, Friday, maybe Friday. So it's going along. It's going along pretty quickly. Let's see. We talked about the new Heritage 6 colors. So my mama had suggested that maybe I talk a little bit about different needles and different cords and how to know what goes with what if you are a collector of knitting tools, the way many of us are. For the shop here, the 3 primary manufacturers of needles that we carry are Knitter's Pride, Haya Haya, and Chiagu. However you say it, everybody knows who you're talking about. The next time I see Leon, who owns the company, I'll ask, or my sales rep, I'll ask for more specifics on how to pronounce it properly. So let's start with the easiest to identify. So Haya Haya and mostly we're going to be talking about interchangeables, because that's what we run into, right? You've got tips and you've got cords, and how do you know which cords go with which tips? Some of it has to do with the threading. Most of it has to do with the colors of the cables. So Haya Hayas, they come in the 4 and 5 inch tips, the Haya Haya sharps. These needles are really great if you do a lot of lace knitting. Their tips are, like they say, they are sharp. The taper on them is longer, so it's easier to get into stitches if you're doing like knit 3 togethers or, things like that. And you want that really sharp tip. The Haya Haya sharps are great for that. They have 3 colors of cables. I don't have any of the small cables in stock, but they just started color coding some of them a couple years ago. For the longest time, they were all this kind of a pale blue color. Chow blue. Oh, yeah. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining us. Melissa, I don't remember. Maybe you had that conversation with him when I wasn't paying any attention. So, Haya Haya cables. Haya Haya was the kind of originator of the swivel cables. So the metal part that is attached to the cable swivels. And we really like those for the longest time because your needles are less likely to come undone while you're knitting. So these ones are the large. You can see it's a pretty big connector there at the end. Their purpley pink ones are the sock ones. They're super tiny on the ends. Then they had, I think, a green that was their small sizes. I don't have any of those in stock. You can see I took them out of the package. They do have some built-in memory to them. So they've been in the package for a while. They're going to stay a little coiled up. With these, as well as with some of the Knitter's Pride cords, you can put them in, like hold on to the metal parts and dip the cords into hot water. And sometimes that helps to kind of um, make them forget their memory. I don't know if that's the way to put it, but kind of relax them a little bit. So that's the sock one. Make sure to put everything right back in the right place. And those are the Hayas. We don't do as much with them as we used to because Chowgu has kind of has really put a lot into advancing their products. Amy, new knitter started. Awesome. Good. Julie's spreading the love. I know she's been teaching a lot of classes lately, so cool. I'm glad she's just like spread the yarny love. We'd love to have you in. Make sure you tell us you're new when you stop in, Amy. Okay, so that was the Haya. Um, Chowgu. Your cords are going to be one of two colors. Primarily, they're either going to be red or they're going to be silver if they're the swivel cords. For the longest time, they had just the red cords, and they have similar to the Hayas. They have 3 different size connectors. So the reason for that is to try and make the smoothest transition between the needle and the cable. So Knitter's Pride has one size cable for all of their needles. And sometimes that's okay, but sometimes it means the the cords are a little bit too what can only be so small, or if you're on really big needles, it's a lot for that taper, and sometimes it makes work a little bit fussy. But so this is a 37-inch Chowgu red cord, but when I let go of it, you see, yeah, it's got a tiny bit of coil to it, but it's nowhere near what that Haya was in terms of how spiraled up it was. One of the great things about the Chowgu cords is how flexible they are. This does have a metal core in it, but it's not stiff. It's not stiff at all. You could do magic loop with these. They're great for trying things on. This is the large one. So it has a large end on it. So this would be for sizes 9, US 9 and up. The regular sized ones, I have a small one here with the swivel cord. So this is their kind of their newest addition as of 2 years ago, I think. Their Swiv 360 cords. So it's a little bit thinner than the large cord, but this one has even less, look at that, even less memory. Again, it's got the metal core in it, but it's just, and I mean, these have been in the package a while. And those are the same length. And you can see, like you can see on the ends there, the red one's the large, the swivel one is the small, and then they have a mini, which is really great if you're doing socks 2 at a time or anything small, and magic loop. There's the mini. Look at how tiny that one is. So let's see if I can get these so you can see the size of the ends on there. Mini is tiny, tiny. Chowgu does make connectors, adapters. So even if you had a size 10 needle, but you didn't have one of the larger cords, they do make adapters, so you could use the small or the mini cords. But they all are really great. The silver cords swivel as well, like the Haya ones do. We do find occasionally if you're working with small needles, like a 3 or a 4 and fingering weight yarn, because of just how they have to be designed in order to swivel, there does have to be a little bit of a gap between the metal part and the cord. Sometimes it catches a little bit, which is why we sometimes default to the red cords, but all three, if you've got red cords or silver cords, those are going to be your ChowGoo cords with either your Forte needle tips or your red lace 4-inch or 5-inch tips. The other thing to look at is the threading. So on ChowGoo needles, you can see the threads. On Knitter's Pride needles, you can't because the threads are on the cables, not on the needles. Pam, I wish I could figure out how to organize cords according to size, just all stuffed in a bag. I am looking into, I just saw that one of my when Knitter's Pride or Knit Pro came out with some new needle case organizers that I'm going to put on my next Notions order because they look really cool. So I may have a solution for you for that. ChowGoo sets. We have sets of 4-inch tips, 5-inch tips. We have the small sets, the large sets. I did find one set of the Forte needles in back. We can still order those as well. The Forte needles are the ones that are the for the smaller sizes, 2.5s to 8s. They are made of carbon fiber. The 9s through 15s, I think, or 17s are African blackwood. We've got them like this as individual tips too, if you wanted to try them. If you like the feel of wood needles, but you really like the tip on the metal needles, the Forte is a great way to go. We do sell little toolkits too for ChowGoo that has all the like adapters, grippies, and stoppers if you needed to take your needles off for some reason. And then the last is, I'm going to keep saying Knitter's Pride because it's been Knitter's Pride for a long time, but they've transitioned over to Knit Pro. So still the KP. And I meant to grab a bunch of the teal cords and I didn't. Hang on. So Knitter's Pride or Knit Pro has the most variety and versatility with their needles in terms of needle materials. Cords could be black. Cords could be colored by size, by length. So like this one is their blue is a 20-inch. They do have a red one. So the only red cord you would have in your Knit Pro kit that would not be a ChowGoo one, but would be a Knit Pro one, would be a red 40-inch cord. But like their orange one is 32. Their yellow one is 24. So then they have their teal cords as part of their Mindful collection that came out this past year. They have a little bit of memory to them, but not nearly as much as the plastic cords. So there's an old school Knitter's Pride original plastic cord. Again, with these, you could hold the metal ends, dip it in really hot water, boiling water, and it would soften that cord up a little bit. They're plastic. They've been in packaging for a while. This is one of their new ones. This is a fixed one, which means it doesn't swivel at the ends. Their swivel ones are a little bit more relaxed than this. If you have purchased some of these and have had any issues. They did have some manufacturing issues early on with the cords breaking at the join. They stand by those and they will replace them. You can bring them in and we'll swap it out for one that is not broken and they will reimburse us for those. So the teal cords like this, the mindful ones, they have marks all along them. They're 1-inch marks, so you can kind of use it as a makeshift quick ruler. You can also use that to count how long the cord is to be able to figure out what length it is if the writing on them has rubbed off. That's the other thing is with both Haya Haya and Chowgu, it's really small, but the length of the cord is written on the metal part, is like stamped on the metal part. The Knitter's Pride ones do not have that, so that would be another way to distinguish between the different types. But as far as needle types with Knit Pro or Knitter's Pride, we carry some of the carbons and some of the marbles, but not as much. Those aren't kind of the most popular. So the most popular are the Nova Cubics, which are their square metal tips. Their Cubics, which are their square wood, which I didn't grab. They're gingers, and they are switching over to this cardboard packaging as much as they can. The ginger are wood tip. We carry a lot more of the ginger than we do the dreams. The dreams are color coded by size. So like a size 9 is green and a size 6 is red, I think, or I might have those backwards. But I just like personally, and from working with it and working with customers, the ginger finish seems to be a lot smoother. The dreams kind of get a little bit sticky and we don't have issues with that. So each of these, we've got 4-inch and 5-inch tips. And then the mindful are their lace tips. So a similar taper to what I was talking about with the Haya Haya, a sharper point, a longer taper, so you can really get into lace projects. Any of these, even the dreams or the carbons, the bamboo, any Knit Pro or Knitter's Pride will work with any of their cords. So if you like needles of different material, that's kind of the best way to go. Mindful needles as a point are sometimes more pointed than Chaigu. Yes, that is true. It depends on the size. I have noticed that a little bit, that sometimes the mindful is a little bit pointier than some of the Chaigu needle tips. Just depends on what you're working on, I guess. So that's kind of a breakdown of what we carry, how to quickly differentiate between them. Oh, I do have what's on this. And let me get this untangled here a little bit. One of the swatches I have on the table here. Oh, well, we have the zings also. So we don't do quite as much with the zings anymore because they are awfully dull compared to the mindful. But again, they are also color coded by size. So like these are 5s and they're purple. Each diameter of needle is a different color, which is nice. But these are on one of the new swivel cords. And we've started carrying some of these too. Instead of just the teal swivel cords, the black swivel cords is black and it's got gold on the end. So this part swivels. You're less likely to have your needle tips come undone. And I think the cords are a little bit more flexible. So you can see it's not, I mean, there's a little bit of knitting hanging on there, but not really. It's not all coiled up. And this one has that metal core to them too. So with the last couple orders I placed, I've been bringing some of those in too. Let's see. I've rambled on a lot about needles. Okay, so 2 things I had noted to chat about. One is a little bit not suitable for work, but if you're up for a chuckle and wanted to just kind of see the funnier underbelly side of Ravelry. There's a designer called Jay Katzenberger, and if you go to the Hot Right Now page on Ravelry, you might see a couple of his designs on there, but he's got some interesting menswear that would be good for a laugh, and yeah, just kind of worth checking out. It was entertaining Melissa and me a little bit before we got started tonight. So Jay Katzenberger, he's got some funny some interesting images and some interesting designs, menswear designs. Teresa. Okay, we haven't gotten January yet, so you're not too far behind. It's supposed to be on its way to me, but hopefully you feel better soon. Also local businesses. I always want to talk about how I could support local businesses. There is a family-owned computer repair service called PCS Computing, and they're out on Bay Road, out toward SVSU if you're local to the Tri-Cities area, by the hockey arena here in Saginaw. PCS Computing is owned by the family of one of our regulars here at the yarn store, and they got me out of a little bit of a pickle the other day. One of the employees from over there stopped in just to say hi and dropped off a card after he was in getting a gift certificate over the holidays for Angie, and came in handy because my kiddo accidentally wiped an external hard drive I had, wiped everything off of it. And so took it over. Well, I sent it over to them at PCS Computing, and he was able to recover. I haven't looked at it yet, but at least some of the data that was on there. And it was one of those where I was like, I don't even know if it was anything that I need on there, but I'd like to know if there was anything I need on there. So it was a small fee to do that, but I was happy to pay it, happy to support a small business. They also take old laptops. So I've been toting around a couple old laptops that I don't even think you could turn them on, let alone do anything with them anymore, and just wasn't sure how to dispose of them properly. Didn't need anything off of them, just wanted to make sure I got rid of them in a proper way and make sure that whoever recycled them wiped data off of them. And so I trust these guys. I was able to drop those old laptops off to them. They don't charge anything to recycle old computers like that. So if you're like me and you have some of those things just around the house and you're not quite sure where to take them, who you can trust, PCS Computing, they seem like a fairly it is a family-owned business, and they seem like pretty good people over there. So worth supporting small local businesses as much as we can. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Also, I saw today posted that one of our neighbor vendors in the marketplace here, Essentially Unique Wellness and Apothecary, has chosen to expand into a different location. They're moving out of the marketplace and into the Midland Mall. They don't have dates for when they're going to be out, or when they're going to be in Midland Mall, but they have posted that this is going to be their last week here in the marketplace. So Lori, I know you like your teas from there. I've gotten lotions and soaps from them. If there's anything that you like from them, they're still going to be doing online ordering and stuff, but they will be here just this week. And then we wish them the best, that they can expand and grow into this new space and continue to thrive. So something to think about, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned. And that's all my notes for tonight, you guys. I think I rambled on enough. I hope everybody has a good night. I hope you're able to stay warm, that your house is keeping you cozy, or that you at least have some space heaters and cozy heated electric blankets to crawl under to keep that chill off. Maybe even take a bath. It's really inspired me to want to knit some sweaters for my puppy. And maybe at some point, if I have two puppies, I might have to knit more sweaters. Wouldn't it be cute if they had matching sweaters? Oh my gosh. one more thing to think about. If my cats would wear sweaters, I would knit sweaters for the cats too. Thank you, Aunt Jackie. So I hope everybody has a good night and a good week. And we are here, business as usual, Wednesday through Saturday. Dress in layers if you're coming to hang out with us. Clearly I am in shorts and you can see my face is a little bit red. It was 76 degrees when I got in here today. So it's cold outside, but remember it's usually kind of toasty in here. So dress in layers so you don't overheat when you come in. So have a good week. If we don't see you here in the marketplace in the next few days, I will see you all right back here next Monday at